The most powerful skill you will ever learn is not how to speak, not how to impress, and not how to dominate others. It is the ability to control your reactions. Most people believe their problems come from the outside world, from difficult people, from unfair situations, from disrespect, loss, or failure. But Stoic wisdom teaches something far more uncomfortable and far more powerful. Your life is shaped not by what happens to you, but by how you respond to what happens. Two people can face the same insult. One loses control, reacts emotionally, and damages his own peace. The other remains calm, unmoved, and walks away stronger. The difference is not intelligence, not strength, not luck. The difference is mastery over reactions. From the moment you wake up, the world tests you. Traffic tests you. People test you. Words test you. Silence tests you. Delays test you. Disrespect tests you. And every test asks the same question again and again. Will you react, or will you remain in control? Most people fail this test daily. They react instantly. They speak before thinking. They get angry before understanding. They give power to anyone who knows how to provoke them. Stoicism calls this slavery. Not slavery to others, but slavery to impulses. Because when someone else can control your emotions, they control you. A raised voice controls you. A careless comment controls you. An unexpected problem controls you. And the Stoics warned us about this long ago. They taught that a man who cannot control his reactions is never truly free. He may appear confident, but inside, he is constantly shaken by external events. True strength, according to Stoicism, is quiet. It is invisible. It is calm. The strongest man in the room is not the loudest. It is the one who cannot be provoked. This is difficult to accept because reacting feels natural. It feels human. It feels justified. When someone disrespects you, reacting feels like self-defense. When life disappoints you, reacting feels like honesty. When anger rises, releasing it feels necessary. But Stoicism teaches restraint, not suppression. There is a difference. Suppression hides emotion and lets it rot inside you. Restraint acknowledges emotion, understands it, and refuses to be controlled by it. You are not asked to feel nothing. You are asked to feel everything without losing yourself. Marcus Aurelius wrote that you always have the power to pause. In that pause lies your freedom. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. Most people never see that space. They jump straight into reaction. The Stoic trains himself to live in that space. That space is where power lives. When someone insults you and you pause, you reclaim control. When something goes wrong and you pause, clarity replaces chaos. When anger appears and you pause, wisdom speaks instead. This pause changes everything. Because reactions are expensive. They cost you energy. They cost you reputation. They cost you peace. Think of how many times a single emotional reaction made a situation worse. A message sent too quickly. A word spoken too sharply. A decision made in anger. The Stoics understood that regret is almost always the child of reaction. Calm decisions rarely create regret. Emotional reactions almost always do. This is why mastering reactions is not about becoming passive. It is about becoming precise. A Stoic does not avoid action. He avoids impulsive action. He understands that responding calmly does not make him weak. It makes him unpredictable. And unpredictability is power. When people expect you to explode and you remain calm, they lose control. When they expect you to argue and you stay silent, they feel exposed. When they expect emotion and receive discipline, the dynamic shifts. This is why silence unsettles people more than anger. Anger is familiar. Silence is not. Silence tells others that they failed to reach you, that they failed to disturb your inner world. And this is the Stoic goal, to build an inner world that no one else can invade without permission. But make no mistake, this is not easy. Your mind has been trained since childhood to react, to defend, to prove, to justify, to explain. Social media rewards reaction. Society rewards emotional expression. Drama is celebrated. Calm is misunderstood. A calm person is often called cold, detached, arrogant. But Stoicism is not about lacking emotion. It is about refusing to let emotion rule you. A Stoic feels anger rise and chooses not to act on it. He feels fear and moves forward anyway. He feels insult and refuses to internalize it. This refusal is not denial. It is discipline. And discipline is built through awareness. You cannot control what you are not aware of. The first step in mastering reactions is noticing them, not judging them, not fighting them, just noticing. Notice how fast your emotions rise. Notice what triggers you. Notice who triggers you. Because triggers reveal attachments. If someone's words can shake you, there is something inside you that depends on their approval. If disrespect angers you deeply, there may be an ego demanding validation. The Stoics taught that pain reveals attachment, and freedom begins where attachment ends. This is uncomfortable, but it is necessary, because the world will never stop testing you. People will never stop behaving unpredictably. Life will never promise fairness. The only constant you can control is yourself. That is why Stoicism places responsibility inward, not blame, responsibility. You are responsible for your reactions, not others. Once you accept this, power returns to you. No one can make you angry. They can only present a situation. Anger is your interpretation. No one can humiliate you without your participation. No one can disturb your peace unless you allow them access. This is not theory. This is practice. And practice takes time. At first, you will fail. You will react. You will regret it. But each moment of awareness is progress. Every time you pause, instead of reacting, even for a second, you strengthen control. Think of reaction mastery like a muscle. It grows with resistance. Each trigger is training. Each provocation is practice. Life is not against you. It is shaping you. The Stoic does not ask for an easier life. He asks for a stronger mind. And strength begins with mastering reactions. Because once you control your reactions, you control your words, your decisions, your behavior, your direction. And when you control these, you control your life. This is only the beginning. In the next part, we will go deeper into how reactions silently destroy power, and how emotional impulsiveness keeps people trapped without them even realizing it. For now, remember this: nothing outside you has the power to ruin your peace. Only your reaction does. And the moment you realize this, you take the first step toward true Stoic strength. Most people believe their reactions protect them. They think anger defends respect. They think emotional outbursts show strength. They think instant responses prove confidence. Stoicism exposes a harsh truth. Reactions do not protect power, they slowly destroy it. Every emotional reaction leaks authority. Every uncontrolled response hands control to someone else. Think about it carefully. If someone can change your mood with a few words, they have power over you. If a situation can disturb your inner peace instantly, you are not in control, you are being controlled. This is why Stoics viewed emotional impulsiveness as dangerous. Not immoral, not shameful, dangerous. Because impulsive reactions make you predictable, and predictability is weakness. When people know how you will react, they know how to manipulate you. They know which buttons to press, which words to use, which situations to create. Anger becomes a lever. Insults become weapons. Silence becomes bait. The Stoic refuses to play this game. He understands that every reaction trains the world how to treat him. If you react aggressively to disrespect, you teach people you are fragile. If you react emotionally to criticism, you teach people where to hurt you. If you react desperately to rejection, you teach people your value depends on them. This is uncomfortable, but it is reality. Power does not announce itself. It reveals itself through restraint. A person who reacts to everything is easy to read. A person who reacts to nothing is impossible to control. Stoicism is not about becoming passive. It is about choosing responses instead of obeying impulses. There is a critical distinction here. A reaction is automatic. A response is intentional. Reactions come from emotion. Responses come from clarity. Most people live reactively. They wake up reacting. They scroll reacting. They speak reacting. They decide reacting. And then they wonder why life feels chaotic. Chaos is the natural result of an uncontrolled mind. The Stoics believe the mind should lead, not follow. Emotion should inform, not command. When emotion commands, reason disappears. This is why so many people say things they regret, why they send messages they wish they could delete, why they destroy relationships in moments of emotional blindness. Regret is the shadow of reaction. The Stoic aims to live without regret, not by avoiding life, but by mastering himself. Consider this carefully. Every major mistake in your life likely came from an emotional state. Anger, fear, insecurity, ego, desperation. Rarely from calm. Calm decisions age well. Emotional decisions rot quickly. This is why Stoics prioritized inner stillness, not silence of speech, silence of disturbance. A calm mind sees clearly. A reactive mind sees threats everywhere. When you react emotionally, your perception narrows. You see only the insult, not the context. Only the loss, not the lesson. Only the pain, not the opportunity. Emotions shrink vision. Calm expands it. The Stoic trains himself to delay reaction, not to suppress emotion, but to let it pass before acting. Because emotions are temporary visitors. They arrive loudly. They demand attention, but they never stay forever. Acting while emotions are present is like steering in a storm. Waiting for calm restores direction. This is why Stoicism teaches endurance over expression. Not because expression is wrong, but because timing matters. There is power in waiting, power in not responding immediately, power in not explaining yourself, power in letting silence do the work. People who react instantly often feel relieved briefly. Then, regret follows. People who pause may feel discomfort briefly. Then clarity follows. Stoicism favors clarity over relief. Relief is temporary. Clarity is permanent. The modern world trains you to react fast. Instant messages, instant opinions, instant outrage. Stoicism trains you to slow down. Not externally, internally. The Stoic moves through life calmly, even when everything around him is loud. This calm is not weakness. It is armor. Armor that protects dignity. Armor that preserves energy. Armor that keeps you unshaken. When someone tries to provoke you and fails, something interesting happens. They feel powerless. They expected resistance. They expected emotion. They expected reaction. They got nothing. And nothing unsettles people more than emotional neutrality. because neutrality removes leverage. You cannot manipulate someone who is not emotionally invested in proving anything. This is why Stoics detach from outcomes. They do their best, then release control. They speak when necessary, then let go of how it is received. They act with integrity, then accept consequences calmly. This detachment makes reactions unnecessary. If you do not depend on external approval, insults lose meaning. If you do not tie your worth to outcomes, failure loses sting. If you do not fear loss excessively, threats lose power. Reactions feed on attachment. The more attached you are, the more reactive you become. Stoicism teaches selective attachment. Attach to values. Detach from opinions. Attach to effort. Detach from results. Attach to character. Detach from validation. When you do this, reactions fade. Not because you stop caring, but because you care about the right things. The Stoic understands that emotional discipline is not about becoming cold. It is about becoming precise. He chooses when to speak, when to act, when to remain silent. This choice is power. Without it, you are dragged by emotion wherever it leads. This is why emotional mastery is rare. It requires patience, self-observation, humility. You must admit that your reactions have harmed you, that they have cost you opportunities, that they have weakened your position. Most people refuse this admission. Ego resists accountability. Stoicism demands honesty. It says, if your reactions keep hurting you, change yourself, not the world. This is difficult, but it is freeing, because you stop waiting for people to behave better. You stop waiting for life to be fair. You stop expecting calm from chaos. You create calm internally. And once calm is internal, the external loses control. This is why Stoicism endures centuries, because human nature has not changed. People still react, still lose control, still regret, and those who master reactions still rise quietly above the noise. In the next part, we will move deeper into emotional triggers, how they form, and how Stoics dismantle them without suppressing emotion or losing humanity. For now, remember this: your reactions are not harmless. They are shaping your reputation, your relationships, and your future. Control them, or they will control you, and no one who is controlled by emotion is truly free. Every reaction begins with a trigger. Not the event itself, but what the event touches inside you. Two people can experience the same situation. One remains calm, the other loses control. The difference is not the situation, it is the trigger. Triggers are not random. They are built over time. They form where expectations live, where ego hides, where fear sits quietly. Stoicism teaches that nothing outside you has power on its own. Power appears only when something inside you responds. This is why the Stoic does not fight the world. He studies himself. When something angers you, Stoicism does not ask you to blame the other person. It asks you to look inward. What belief was threatened? What expectation was violated? What attachment was exposed? Because anger is rarely about the present moment. It is about an internal demand not being met. Respect, recognition, control, security. When these are threatened, emotion rises. The Stoic understands that triggers reveal dependence. If you are deeply triggered by disrespect, your peace may depend on how others see you. If criticism shakes you, your confidence may depend on approval. If rejection wounds you, your worth may depend on acceptance. These dependencies create emotional instability. Stoicism does not deny emotions. It weakens the roots that feed them. This is done through awareness. The Stoic practices observing emotion instead of obeying it. When anger appears, he notices it. He does not justify it. He does not suppress it. He watches it. Emotion loses strength when it is observed calmly. Most people are fused with their emotions. They say, "I am angry." The Stoic says, "Anger is present." This small shift creates distance, and distance creates control. Emotion demands immediate action. Awareness creates delay. Delay is the Stoic weapon. When you delay reaction, emotion peaks and then fades. It always fades. No emotion can survive without reinforcement. Reinforcement comes from thought. When you replay the insult, when you imagine revenge, when you justify your anger, this fuels the fire. The Stoic cuts the fuel. He refuses to feed emotion with narrative. He understands that thoughts are choices, not always easy choices, but choices nonetheless. This is where discipline begins, not in eliminating emotion, but in choosing not to feed it. Triggers also form from past wounds, unresolved experiences, old failures, past humiliation. When present situations resemble the past, emotion reacts before reason. The Stoic does not deny the past. He refuses to let it govern the present. He reminds himself, this moment is not the past. This person is not the same. This situation does not define me. This mental separation is powerful, because most reactions are echoes of old pain. When you recognize this, compassion replaces anger. Understanding replaces impulse. The Stoic also understands that many triggers are rooted in ego. Ego wants to be right, to be seen, to be respected, to win. When ego is threatened, emotion explodes. Stoicism trains the ego to stand down, not by destroying it, but by disciplining it. The Stoic asks himself, is this reaction protecting my values or feeding my ego? This question alone dissolves many reactions, because ego wants immediate satisfaction. Values want long-term integrity. Ego seeks victory. Values seek alignment. When you choose values over ego, reactions lose urgency. Another powerful Stoic practice is reframing. Reframing does not mean lying to yourself. It means choosing a perspective that preserves calm. When something goes wrong, the Stoic does not ask, "Why me?" He asks, "What is in my control?" He does not ask, "How is this unfair?" He asks, "How can I respond with dignity?" This shift moves attention from emotion to action. Emotion fades when purpose appears. The Stoic also accepts discomfort. Many reactions come from resistance to discomfort. Embarrassment, awkwardness, uncertainty. People react to escape these feelings. The Stoic stays with discomfort without acting. He knows discomfort cannot harm him, but reaction can. This tolerance builds emotional strength. Like a muscle, it grows through exposure. The Stoic does not avoid triggers. He trains through them. Every time he remains calm, he weakens the trigger. Every time he pauses, he rewires response. This is slow work, but it is permanent work. One day, situations that once controlled you no longer move you, not because you are numb, but because you are free. The Stoic also understands that some triggers never fully disappear. They simply lose authority. Anger may still appear, fear may still arise, but they no longer command behavior. This is mastery, not the absence of emotion, the absence of domination. When you master triggers, you reclaim your energy. You stop wasting it on imagined threats, on people who do not matter, on situations beyond control. Your mind becomes quieter, clearer, and in that clarity, You see reality as it is, not as emotion paints it. This is the Stoic advantage, not intelligence, not strength, clarity. In the next part, we will explore how Stoics translate this internal mastery into daily life through simple practices that build calm power consistently, even under pressure. For now, remember this. Triggers are not your enemies. They are teachers. They show you where you are still attached, where you still depend. And wherever dependence ends, freedom begins. Stoicism is not practiced in silence or isolation. It is tested in real life. The true measure of reaction mastery is not how calm you feel when life is quiet, but how steady you remain when pressure appears. The Stoics understood this deeply. That is why they focused on daily practice, not theory. They knew that a mind left untrained will always react, so they trained the mind through simple, repeatable habits. One of the most powerful Stoic practices is anticipation, not anxiety, preparation. The Stoic begins each day knowing that difficulty will appear. People will be unreasonable. Plans will fail. Delays will happen. Disrespect may occur. By accepting this in advance, the shock disappears. Surprise fuels reaction. Expectation reduces it. When something goes wrong, the Stoic is not offended. He is ready. He says inwardly, "This is what I prepared for." This single shift prevents countless emotional outbursts. Another Stoic practice is voluntary restraint. Not everything that can be said must be said. Not everything that can be reacted to deserves response. The Stoic practices silence deliberately. He withholds reaction even when he could express it. Not to suppress emotion, but to strengthen control. This restraint builds inner authority. Because the more often you choose not to react, the more you prove to yourself that you are in command. Over time, this confidence becomes natural. The Stoic also practices separation between event and meaning. Events are neutral. Meaning is assigned. An insult is just sound. Disrespect is an interpretation. The Stoic chooses meaning carefully. He asks himself, "Does this truly affect my character?" If not, he lets it pass. This practice removes unnecessary suffering. Most pain is not caused by events, but by the stories we attach to them. The Stoic edits these stories. He removes exaggeration. He removes personalization. He removes drama. What remains is reality manageable and calm. Another daily practice is self-review. At the end of the day, the Stoic reflects, not to judge himself harshly, but to learn. Where did I react impulsively? Where did emotion lead me? Where did I remain calm? Each reflection strengthens awareness, and awareness is the foundation of control. Without awareness, discipline collapses. The Stoic also practices minimalism mentally. He reduces unnecessary wants, unnecessary opinions, unnecessary validation. The more you need, the more reactive you become. When your happiness depends on outcomes, on praise, on agreement, you react defensively. The Stoic simplifies. He finds contentment in effort, not reward, in character, not recognition. This reduces emotional vulnerability. Another critical practice is physical discipline. The Stoics believed the body trains the mind. Fatigue reveals impatience. Comfort breeds impulsiveness. Through controlled discomfort, exercise, restraint, routine, the Stoic builds resilience. When the body learns endurance, the mind follows. This is why disciplined people react less. They are familiar with discomfort. They do not panic when things feel difficult. They remain steady. The Stoic also limits exposure to noise. Not silence from the world, but silence from excess. Endless opinions, endless outrage, endless comparison. These weaken reaction control. The Stoic guards his attention carefully, because attention shapes emotion. What you consume consumes you. Calm minds are built by calm inputs. Another powerful Stoic tool is perspective. The Stoic steps back mentally. He sees himself as part of a larger whole, a single moment in a long life. A single life in a vast world. This perspective dissolves urgency. Many reactions come from overestimating importance. The Stoic reminds himself, this moment will pass. This emotion will fade. This outcome will not define me. Perspective reduces emotional weight, and with less weight, reaction loses force. Perhaps the most difficult practice is acceptance. Not passive acceptance, rational acceptance. The Stoic accepts what cannot be controlled. Fighting reality fuels reaction. Acceptance restores peace. This does not mean approval, it means clarity. Once reality is accepted, action becomes effective. Without acceptance, action becomes emotional. The Stoic chooses effectiveness over expression. All these practices share one goal: to slow the moment between stimulus and response. In that space, freedom lives. Freedom from regret. Freedom from impulsiveness. Freedom from emotional slavery. Through practice, reaction mastery becomes instinct. Calm becomes default. Clarity becomes habit, and others notice. Not because you demand respect, but because you embody control. People trust those who are steady. They follow those who are calm. This is quiet authority. In the final part, we will bring everything together: how mastering reactions reshapes identity, relationships, and destiny, and how this Stoic skill ultimately changes everything. For now, remember this: reactions are not controlled by force. They are controlled by practice. And practice, repeated daily, turns calm into strength. At some point in life, you realize something powerful. It's not the world that needs to change. It's not people. It's not circumstances. It's you. The moment you stop reacting, you start choosing. Most people live their entire lives on autopilot. They react when insulted. They react when ignored. They react when things don't go their way. And without realizing it, they hand over control of their peace to others. But you didn't come this far to stay that way. When you master your reactions, something shifts inside you. You no longer feel the need to explain yourself. You no longer chase validation. You no longer waste energy on things that don't matter. You become calm not because life is easy, but because you are stronger than life. Stoicism teaches us one final truth. You don't control what happens. You control how you respond. And that response decides everything. Your success, your relationships, your mental peace, your future. When someone disrespects you and you stay calm, you win. When life tests you and you don't panic, you win. When others lose control and you remain grounded, you rise above them without saying a word. This is the quiet power of Stoicism. Not loud, not emotional, unshakable. From today, let this be your rule. Pause before reacting. Observe before speaking. Choose silence when emotions demand noise. Because the strongest people are not those who react the fastest. They are the ones who control themselves the most. If this message helped you, if Stoic wisdom is changing the way you think and live, subscribe to the channel for more timeless, Stoic wisdom that strengthens your mind and your life.